Sabrina Carpenter is currently on her way to Fortnite, and today, guys, we are going to be talking about the drama surrounding this. A lot of people are excited for this. A lot of people are upset about this. We are going to cover all of it for you today and give my thoughts, and of course, we're going to look at what people had to say online about it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with 20 YouTube channel. So, let me bring you to an example tweet by Fortnite Leaks over here because there are so many leaks pages, news pages, Fortnite accounts posting something like this. Why are people hating on the Fortnite Festival Sabrina Carpenter skin? Ton of replies in that. A lot of people had a ton to say, like I just said, but the whole talk of Fortnite right now, even with the ballistic update, everybody seemed to have been talking about Sabrina Carpenter. And guys, I'm a hater of it. I'm a hater, but hear me out because I'm not one of those people who are going to be like, no way, Sabrina Carpenter, this is going to ruin the game. It's going to ruin my Fortnite. I'm quitting. I'm quitting Fortnite. But anyways, my take about this kind of situation is typically what my take is for a lot of things when it comes to something like Fortnite. It's a video game. Her becoming a skin in Fortnite is nowhere near the end of the world because typically, and I guess I don't know how much I'm going to exactly dive into this. I'm somebody who's deeply concerned about how hypersexualized the world is, and as somebody who's raising a daughter right now, I don't exactly want her looking up to somebody like Sabrina Carpenter. I can shield her from the evils of the world, but all it takes is to get involved with a couple friends, and I know she's not going to be relevant by the time my daughter ends up growing up, but you get the point. This behavior is not exactly, too enticing for me. I find it repulsing. But what I do know is that Epic Games is not going to be adding any of her Juno poses to the game. Likely what's going to happen, and by the time this video comes out, I'm recording this the night before you're actually seeing it. By the time this video comes out, perhaps everything will have been leaked. I imagine what's going to happen is we're going to have a couple Sabrina Carpenter skins in edit style, and then some cool jam tracks, because honestly, she makes some really, really good music. I haven't listened to nearly all of her music, but I like the popular ones. Like, I like Espresso. I can't think of another one, but honestly, you have to take my word. Like, if Sabrina Carpenter's on and we're listening to, like, on the radio or something, like, I'll enjoy it. She makes good music, and that's what this is all about. It's for Fortnite Festival. They're not adding any Juno poses over to the game. Then I would be like, okay, guys, this is a little bit too much. I mean, look who else they've added to the game, too. They just added Snoop Dogg and Ice Spice, and Ice Spice is literally only known for shaking her ass. There was no problem with that, right? There's no problem with that. We've all seen, like, with this type of stuff that Ice Spice goes viral for. They added the skin to the game. Do I like it? No, but at the end of the day, it's literally just a Fortnite skin, and I don't recall if they've even added music by Ice Spice. I'm not personally a fan of Ice Spice either, but they handle those collaborations just fine. If you're worried about, like, even just some little kids coming across something, they've added horror characters too. Fortnite is not just a kids game at this point, and they make their things perfectly family friendly. Like, we have a bunch of horror characters, the skins that I just mentioned. I'm sure there's more that I can think of off the top of I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but they've handled collaborations perfectly fine. So as much as I can dislike Sabrina Carpenter and dislike, like, watching what she does, and it's important to note, I'm gonna pause right here, and yeah, I just want to get this one out of the way because I can already hear the clicks of some keyboards typing out words like misogyny or incel or anything like that. I'm not weird for finding this behavior repulsing. I'm not weird for being worried about what some giant idol like this is doing to young women today. I just finished watching this girl get Eiffel Towered on stage. I'm not the weird one here, and I will not entertain any conversation saying otherwise. But honestly, guys, as I've said, they're not going to be adding any of that type of stuff, and I can laugh at the memes, I can laugh at her getting Eiffel Towered and everything like that, right? But realistically, what they're going to be adding is a Sabrina Carpenter skin. They're going to be adding some good music, and people are going to use that good music to play in Fortnite Festival. There's just one particular part of her brand that I personally don't like. Other than that, she makes great music, and I see no harm with this being added to Fortnite. As usual, I think the Fortnite community is really, really overreacting because everybody's calling each other, like, misogynist, incels. Other people are just saying, no, it's not that. I just find her music annoying. But, like, her coming to the game is not going to harm the game in any way, shape, or form. I'm a big fan. If you don't like it, don't play it. Like, I really think it's that simple. And a skin coming to the game, if you want to, and where are we going to draw the line, guys? Sabrina Carpenter coming to the game, yeah, you know what, she does her Juno poses. Where are we going to draw the line? If we're going to, like, have a big outrage of her coming to the game, let's get on Snoop Dogg. Let's get on Ice Spice. I don't think we should do that because, again, I think that Epic Games handled the crossovers in a very nice way. I think that they were implemented to the game great. We could get into Ice Spice taking over the shark, and, like, perhaps that was a little bit too much with what they did the remix, but I'm talking about, like, when people come at this, like, ethically. When they're talking about, like, oh my god, Snoop Dogg did this, oh my god, Ice Spice, like, there are 6-year-olds that play this game, and Ice Spice is literally only known for twerking. I get that, but we don't have Ice Spice twerking in the game. She just ended up getting out of the game. We have some music. It literally is that simple to me personally. And of course, if they actually did end up adding things like 18 plus emotes, then we can get into a further conversation, which would actually be very interesting because maybe, you know, we can talk about that one day. That's actually something that I do want to talk about in my brand new video that I'm working on, which is the updated version of the complete guide to fixing Fortnite. I want to get into that topic because I like that there's a certain way they could go about using 18 plus emotes, but regardless, at the end of the day, I believe this is the Fortnite community being the Fortnite community and just making a giant deal out of nothing. It seems from an online perspective that it's kind of like 50-50. People like Sabrina Carpenter, people don't like Sabrina Carpenter, but of course, I'm open to hearing otherwise. But it's not just about what I think about all of this. Of course, we wanted to take a look over at replies to a ton of different leak pages about this, guys. If you are enjoying the video, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I ended up posting this over on X, which the quote tweet was now unavailable, and it was somebody just, I don't recall exactly what they were saying, talking about the Sabrina Carpenter drama. I had no intentions on like calling this person out or anything like that. It was literally just an example tweet, so I'm hoping that the person didn't think they were going to get flamed or anything. Regardless, I had this to say. I'm also going to make a video on this soon. A ton of people were upset with her coming to Fortnite. Others couldn't care less. We'll talk soon. If you have any thoughts, drop them below, and I will include some. Thank you, as always, for your time. If you would like to join in on the conversation, follow me at Clen YouTube on X, or you can check out the top of the description, the link tree, or if you want to scroll a little bit down, the direct link to X will be there. Thank you so much again for being here, guys. Let's get into what everybody had to say about this. Frog had this to say: it's quite a silly argument because we had Snoop Dogg a few months ago who promotes drugs, sex, and crime, which is much worse than a woman doing silly sex positions on a stage. How deep do we want to get into this one, guys? I am somebody who believes that, you know, in saying it nicely, the hypersexualization of this world is the single biggest problem with young men today, and it's going to destroy civilization. But we are not getting that within Fortnite. We're not getting that. Sabrina Carpenter isn't going to, you know, be on her knees in Fortnite. Are people going to make memes of it? Yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, I don't, but I don't understand why everybody's getting outraged about Sabrina Carpenter when you have all of this other stuff that's been added to the Fortnite. And you know what? Maybe they hated on it too, but it seems like it's been picked up a little bit for this one. You know what I mean? I feel like people are just like, man, you know what? Maybe people were looking for the outrage of the day. Nothing to get mad at today. So Sabrina Carpenter was the recipient of it. Let's continue on to what Emmanuel had to say about all of this. I understand why some people are upset or frustrated about her being added to the game. She markets herself in a very sexual way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the game already has plenty of characters who are either overly sexualized or extremely gory. We already have characters like Snoop Dogg and Eminem who have done some questionable things in the past, like using slurs or, in Snoop Dogg's case, doing drugs, which isn't exactly a good look for Fortnite, but they were still added to the game nonetheless. I've heard people talking about, and I with all my heart, guys, I have no idea whether this is accurate or not, so take this with a ginormous grain of salt. I've heard people talking about Snoop Dogg killing people. I don't know anything about that. I don't know much about Snoop Dogg, just like, if that's the case, wow. Or take a more recent example, the female artist Ice Spice. Her entire image revolves her having a big butt and shaking it. Her music isn't even that good, yet they still added it to the game and then gave her a full event. All I'm saying is, if you don't like her, that's fine. I don't either. Her music is mid, and I don't care that she's in the game. I just won't play her songs. It's really not that deep. Some people take this way too seriously. It's not that deep. She's not even in the game forever. Like I said, Fortnite already has plenty of controversial characters. All that Sabrina's done is be sexual, not nearly as much as Ice Spice or some other popular artists. That last part, I don't know. She seems pretty, you know, like overly sexual to me, but like this girl's literally just known for her Juno poses, so that's besides the point though. But then again, Ice Spice is literally known for just shaking her ass. I don't know. I can't believe that I'm talking about this. This world's going downhill fast, man. But I am with Emmanuel. Like, if you don't like her, that's fine. Don't play her music. I would understand the outrage if we added the Juno positions into the game, but it's going to be a skin. I imagine she's going to be in like some concert dress, and I imagine that it's not going to be revealing. And you know what? You might have some legs, but it's fine. It's a video game. It's all good. I think that people like are literally just looking a little bit too deep into it. Let's continue on to what Memes Against Humanity had to say. A bunch of gamers' moms are going to have to wash a ton of stiff socks. I am also a big believer. No, sorry. I'm not talking about that one, guys. I'm not talking about that one, okay? Let's continue on to what Dan had to say. Honestly, at this point, you gotta suck it up when something you don't like gets added. They've done so many collabs at this point that people shouldn't care about what gets added. They brought Travis Scott back in the latest event, so they really don't even care who they add to the game anymore. Yeah, Fortnite does so many collabs, some good, some bad. Some people stand for this, some people stand for that. You don't have to like it, just you do have to suck it up. At the end of the day, Battle Royale is not going to change. Your favorite game isn't going to change. You just might run into a few Sabrina Carpenters. Well, I imagine you're going to run into quite a few Sabrina Carpenters, but that's not a big deal. It really isn't. I don't think it's that deep. But guys, we do have more opinions to take a look at. Let me stop you for just a second. As you know, I have been grinding on YouTube as hard as I possibly can, and I have been advertising my supporter creator code. I want to be the sole provider for my family, so I ask that if you do not have a supporter creator code that you are currently using in that M shop, please consider using my code Clen. It is helping me out more than you ever know. Thank you very much, everybody who is using it, and if you consider using it or just listening to this part of the video, because I get it's an interruption. I appreciate that, guys. Let's continue on over to Tomato Commissions Open. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to read the commissions open part. All she does is show her ass. We don't need that in a kid's game. We have Ice Spice. She doesn't even have good music. She just talks about sex. Listen to any Weeknd song or Bruno song. Sabrina hate is forced. I don't think that the Sabrina hate is forced. I just think it's weird to like care about Sabrina when we're not having a, like, we're not making a big deal about Ice Spice. Because what Tomato said is right. All she does is show her ass. We don't need that in a kid's game. Not necessarily a kid's game. We also have Ice Spice. And yeah, we're not having a big deal. Like, if we want to have songs talking about sex, we don't throw an outrage about The Weeknd or Bruno. Like, it's true. It's accurate. That's kind of like where I'm at with this. Why are we picking this particular battle? That's kind of where I'm at with this one. Let's continue on to Pixel Distortion. Glorified stripper coming to a kid's game. You have the Gooners on one side and the people with the brain on the other. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. There are countless other actually talented women who make actually good songs without using themselves as sexual objects. Whew. Ooh, my God. She does make good music. That's the problem. She does make good music. I will say that I think that people really, really jump on the, you know, oh my God, you just hate women. Oh my God, you just are a misogynist. I think that people jump on that way too much. You're allowed to not like her. I just gave you an example as to why I don't like her. I don't like her because I'm worried about, you know, the youth looking up to somebody like that. You know, I can dive into the countless numbers and hours upon hours of speaking that I can do on why exactly that is bad for young women. That's completely true. It's okay to not like an artist for those types of reasons, and people just, you know, typing in, oh my God, you just hate women being added to the game. I probably never had a problem with any other woman being added to the game before. I like female skins, I like female artists. Like, why are we being put in such a defensive position about that? That is also a problem, what people are talking about this entire topic. You're jumping to the, and that's what I was worried about when, like, making this video. People are jumping into the, oh my God, you just don't like women thing, like, really quick. Like, I'm like, okay, that's not true. We just gave you a completely reason. And you know what? Are there people that don't like her because she's a woman? Sure. Are those people wrong? Yes. You shouldn't just dislike women. That's not okay. What kind of parents did you have? You know, like, we're grouping everybody that doesn't like Sabrina Carpenter into one category over here, you know? Let's continue on to what Titan Swan had to say. If anyone says this is a kid's game, isn't seeing what all is added to the game. Everything is to indoctrinate children. If you are a parent and you take your child to these shows, they give you a parental warning. Research to be informed on what performers do, parents' job. This is something that I talked about when we talked about on Clenday, you know, when everybody was initially mad at Sabrina Carpenter when she started doing the Juno poses. My whole take on it was, it's the responsibility of the parents to shield their children from the evils of the world. It's not really, like, can I dislike what Sabrina Carpenter does? Yes, I can. Yes. But I'm also not going to, like, look at the kids in her audience and be like, oh my God, Sabrina Carpenter, what are you doing? There's children in your audience. I'm like, no. What kind of parent is letting their 6-year-old go to that show? I know, I doubt that there's actual 6-year-olds. Like, nah, you know what? It wouldn't shock me, but there are young women at their shows. We have seen this. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Why are the parents letting there? Like, my whole problem is with any parents being okay with that. It's the problem with the parents. They do give you a warning about sexual themes. Listen to the songs. They're about sex. You know, I am totally on board with that. Again, I can hate the Juno poses. I can hate them, but the responsibility does fall on any parents. And if any parent really has a problem with Sabrina Carpenter in Fortnite, it's up to them to not have their kids play Fortnite. It's not up to Epic Games to, you know, sanitize Sabrina Carpenter. You know, that was a little bit weird to say, but you know what I'm talking about, guys. You know what I mean. Parent problem, that's the biggest problem. Joseph Muhammad had this to say: people really need to stop acting like she's a weird human being because of the poses she's doing. It's called the Juno pose, losers. Also, people are upset they can just not buy the skin and shut up. I'm a huge fan of her, so I'm very happy about this. I totally agree. If people are upset, just don't buy the skin. I'm not going to buy it. Well, actually, I have the crew. I am going to get Sabrina Carpenter. I might. Joseph, I appreciate you commenting down below, man, but I'm not the weird one for disliking the behavior of watching a girl get on her knees and do her biggest thing is just, hey, what sex position is she gonna put herself into? What vulnerable position is this girl gonna bend herself into in front of a crowd? I'm not the weird one for disliking that. Would you want your mother doing the same thing? And the answer to that is absolutely going to be no. Let's continue on to what Mika had to say. I think anyone hating is actually a reflection of themselves. They must be poor and ugly. Oh. Yeah, like, how many times I have to explain myself, guys? How many times I have to explain it? I think I have a very justified reason for not particularly liking this. But again, I'm not all up in arms about this. It's very important to note that it is literally just a Fortnite skin, okay? Johnny Boy had this to say. Just another example of the artist I wanted didn't make it, so the one that did is bad. Happened with Miku and Karol G. This is also a big issue with the Fortnite community when it comes to any collab whatsoever. I hate collabs, I hate collabs, I hate collabs. Oh, but this one I like. When it's a collab for me, I'm okay with collabs. The same thing happens with the music artists, and a lot of people that are hating on Sabrina Carpenter absolutely do have that attitude. I really do believe that. Real Poison Kill had this to say. I wonder why this is a line in the sand to many, but collabs with heavy drug users and profane lyricists weren't as vocally problematic in the community. It's mostly a Fortnite Festival content piece. The same people saying this collab is awful are often the same ones saying festival is dying. P.S. I'm not interested in this because none of her music has challenging instrument pieces to play on Expert Plus. Fair point. That's fair. That's fair. That sucks though. You would think that they would make any like music that they add, like have it be available to be a little bit difficult, but then again, I don't know to what extent like Epic Games works on these tracks, or if it's just depends on exactly how many instruments are being played or something like that. I don't know. That's besides the point. Yeah, like I said, it's a weird line to draw in the sand when it comes to these collabs. I think that there just hasn't been enough like outrage of the day for people, and people picked Sabrina Carpenter to get mad at. It's not a big deal. It's a Fortnite skin coming to the game. That's literally it, and that's how I feel about it. Like, if it's a video game, it's not the end of the world. You know what is the end of the world, though, guys? You not watching this video on screen right now. I made a video on the perfect Fortnite loophole, and it is vastly underperforming. And I thought it was a good video. So if you're interested, check it out, guys. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.